What were you struggling with the most prior to joining the program?
Being consistent with myself. And then also, if I wasn't consistent, like I missed a day, I'd be like, oh, I blew it. So now I can't be successful at all. And the fact is that you're not going to be consistent 365 days a year. But what you do most of the time is what matters. And that's really what I learned with your program. If I had a bad day of eating, or I didn't get my steps in, or I didn't get my workout in, I can just start over where I'm at. I don't even have to think about what I failed at. Just start over and continue.
Was it more so getting out of like that all or nothing perfectionist mindset?
Exactly. Yes.
That's the thing that a lot of people struggle with. Even me to this day, when I have like maybe a bad meal, a bad workout, I kind of let that derail me from getting back on track. But like you said, right? Next meal, just make that a healthier meal. Next workout, just make that a better workout. And as long as you pick yourself up right away, which you have done, yeah, you're well on your way. And then before joining, were you skeptical at all about anything, whether it was being online, never having an online trainer before, or anything like that for you, Jennifer?
You would think I would have been skeptical, but I really wasn't. I was ready to do this. I had seen you online. I had seen what you've accomplished with other people. I actually had a lot of faith in the program.
Okay, awesome. And that was largely due to obviously seeing all the stuff on social media?
Right.
Okay. And if you don't mind me asking, what specifically stood out the most to you? Because obviously I know there's a bunch of coaches out there, right?
What you were saying really made sense. Like, eat one ingredient foods, avoid over processed foods at the same time. Also, it didn't have to be all or nothing. 80% of the time, make sure it's right. I saw you showing other people different exercises that they were capable of. And then you'd say, oh, if you can't do that, then do this. It's working the same body part. It's just a little bit of a modification. So I knew that anyone in any physical condition could be in your program and be successful.
I guess since joining, so we had an entire 6 months, August up until now February. What was your biggest breakthrough that you experienced within those 6 months in this program?
I've just developed so much strength and more stamina. Like in my everyday activities, I'm moving more because I'm comfortable to move more. And then also holding myself accountable. Like if I've been sitting on the couch reading a book for a half an hour, okay, it's time to stand up and move around for 15 minutes. I'm doing that now that I wasn't doing before. I just kind of have a different mindset.
And I definitely think you've gained a lot more consistency with your routine as well. Would you kind of agree with that too?
Yes, absolutely.
What were kind of like the results for you? Because I know the number on a scale was something that we were kind of like obsessed over throughout the entire time. But I know very well that you experienced a lot of progress outside of that scale, right? Whether it was with your medications, with the way you felt, your clothes and stuff. So do you mind kind of like touching on that as well?
I feel so much healthier. Also, which I haven't told you, my blood pressure when I started with you, average was about 168 over 84, 85. It's been that way since I was 26 years old, and I'm now 53. The last 3 times I've went to the doctor and got my blood pressure checked, it's been 120 over 72. It hasn't been like that since I was 26 years old.
Wow. And you're now what, in your 50s?
53.
That's
And
incredible.
it's consistently been 168 over 84 for, I don't know, 25 years. That extended my life. It had to have.
Yeah, I'm as you can tell, I'm kind of speechless right now.
It's a big deal. Like, that's a huge deal. That's probably affected my ability to have more movement, because when your blood pressure is super high, you're tired. You don't want to move. So now I have so much more energy. And the only thing that changed was working with you. Nothing else changed.
And so what do you think kind of moved the needle there?
My eating habits changed a lot. Actually, the calories were a little bit more when I started with you, but then I was working out. But the one ingredient foods, the focusing on protein, which I think is a huge deal, those 2 things are probably the biggest as far as my diet goes. And then I feel like lifting brought me a lot of strength and energy, which I have lifted in the past, but it's probably been 8 years since it was consistent. So I had forgotten how much energy lifting weights, more than cardio for me. Lifting brought me a lot more energy.
100%. And I think that's often a big thing that a lot of people, especially unfortunately women, overlook, because they have this misconception that it'll make you look bulky or that you won't get as toned by doing it. But you're obviously a great example that your health markers can actually improve by you exercising, resistance training, lifting weights, right? And it's not just about doing endless amounts of cardio or just eating salads all day, right? Who would you specifically recommend this program to?
Someone that is motivated to change and get healthier, but they need direction, or they've hit a plateau. But I feel like they need to want to change, because if they don't want to, no amount of coaching is going to help them. Anybody that really has the motivation to change their health would be a good candidate for your program.
And you specifically did mention like a gender, so you think both males, females, regardless if they're willing to put into work, they'd be a good fit?
To be honest, it was a little bit intimidating because I knew that you mostly worked with men. So I was afraid that you wouldn't know how to challenge me, or being a 53-year-old woman, it's very easily for me to be marginalized by pretty much everyone. Doctors, just anybody in general. So I was afraid that you wouldn't be interested in working with me. It's got to be more exciting to work with a man that's like, building his big muscles and doing these shows. And so I was a little bit intimidated at first. So instead of questioning whether or not you wanted to work with me, I just let the process happen. And I'm really glad that I did.
No, I am as well. I'm really happy with just everything we've done with you. I feel like you're in a really good spot right now as well. With everything that you've gone through, was there anything in specific that maybe you did not like about the program or the way things were structured in regards to the app, the check-ins, the communication? Anything that you disliked about the experience for you?
I was really surprised how good the communication was, because I know I'm not your only client. And if I ever had a question or, something just didn't seem right to me, if I contacted you, you got back to me in a fairly timely manner, which that was a lot. There wasn't really anything about the program that I didn't enjoy.
All right. Awesome. Well, it makes it easy for me. Thank you so much for all the feedback, and then also of course allowing us to obviously coach you and take you through this transformative journey, which hopefully we can kind of carry on for the rest of your life.
Really, truly, thank you for all that you've done for me, Conan. I really appreciate it.
Of course. No, it was an absolute pleasure, and I look forward to seeing how far you can take this on your own.